Science fiction, sci-fi, as a genre has had a profound influence on space-related science, travel, and exploration, particularly during the 19th and 20th centuries. The genre's ability to push boundaries, speculate about technological advancements, and inspire wonder has left a lasting impact on real-world space programs and the individuals who drove them forward. From early pioneers of sci-fi like Jules Verne and H.G. Wells to post-1970 authors like Arthur C. Clarke, sci-fi has shaped our imagination and often provided a creative framework that has influenced scientific progress, technological innovations, and space exploration. Early sci-fi authors and their impact. Jules Verne, 1828 to 1905. Jules Verne is often considered the father of modern science fiction, and his work stands as a testament to how literature can prefigure real-world scientific developments. Verne's novel From the Earth to the Moon, 1865, is a seminal piece of speculative fiction that envisions a manned mission to the moon. What makes this work particularly fascinating is how closely it mirrors certain aspects of NASA's Apollo program, which would come more than a century later. In Verne's novel, he details a giant cannon, the Columbiad, that propels astronauts to the moon from Florida, a curious parallel to the real-life Cape Canaveral launch site. Verne's work was not only entertaining but also grounded in scientific speculation. While the specifics of his technology, like using a cannon for space travel, were unfeasible, his forward-thinking ideas laid conceptual groundwork that encouraged readers to imagine space travel as achievable. His novels stimulated the imaginations of both scientists and engineers, indirectly inspiring the generations that would go on to make space travel a reality. For instance, NASA scientists have cited Verne as an inspiration in interviews, acknowledging his work as an early influence on their fascination with space. H.G. Wells, 1866 to 1946. Alongside Verne, H.G. Wells was one of the most influential early sci-fi writers. His 1898 novel The War of the Worlds, depicting a Martian invasion, introduced readers to the idea of alien life and interplanetary travel. Wells' more scientifically grounded novel The First Men in the Moon, 1901, depicted a spacecraft that could travel to the moon, and although the method of propulsion, a substance called cavorite, was fictional, his writing encouraged thinking about the practicalities of space exploration. Wells' work left a lasting legacy not only in literature but also in the world of science. His imaginative storytelling helped normalize the idea of space exploration as a legitimate scientific pursuit. He was one of the first authors to suggest that space exploration could lead to discoveries about life on other planets. The War of the Worlds played a significant role in popularizing the concept of extraterrestrial life, which would later inspire scientists like Carl Sagan to study the cosmos and theorize about the possibility of intelligent life beyond Earth. Mid-20th century sci-fi, shaping space programs and exploration. The mid-20th century, particularly the post-World War II period, was a critical time for the development of space exploration. The dawn of the space race between the United States and the Soviet Union also coincided with a boom in sci-fi literature and film. The genre's rapid rise during this era can be seen as both a reflection of and a catalyst for the fascination with space exploration. Two key authors during this time who shaped the trajectory of space science were Arthur C. Clarke and Robert A. Heinlein. Arthur C. Clarke, 1917 to 2008. Arthur C. Clarke was perhaps the most significant sci-fi writer to directly influence real-world space exploration. His novel 2001, A Space Odyssey, 1968, and its accompanying screenplay, co-written with filmmaker Stanley Kubrick, is often heralded as one of the most scientifically accurate and visionary works in sci-fi history. The film, which depicted human exploration of Jupiter with advanced AI and space stations, has left a lasting impression on how we envision space exploration. Clarke's most notable contribution to actual space science, however, is his concept of the geostationary satellite. In 1945, in an essay titled Extraterrestrial Relays, Clarke proposed the idea of placing satellites in orbit to allow for global communication. This concept became a cornerstone of modern telecommunications and space technology. Today, geostationary satellites are essential for everything from weather forecasting to GPS systems. Clarke's vision, articulated through his fiction and non-fiction work, not only inspired generations of space enthusiasts but also had a direct technological influence. His works also inspired NASA engineers and astronauts. Notably, Neil Armstrong, the first human to walk on the Moon, is said to have been influenced by Clarke's writings, and many space engineers credit him for inspiring their interest in space exploration. Robert A. Heinlein, 1907 to 1988. Heinlein, another key figure in the golden age of sci-fi, had a profound influence on American space culture. Known for works like Starship Troopers, 1959, and The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, 1966, Heinlein's novels often explored themes of space colonization, military space operations, and the politics of interplanetary governance. Though more speculative than Clarke's work, Heinlein's vision of humans as a spacefaring species deeply resonated with the emerging space race of the 1960s. His 1940 short story Requiem tells of an elderly man's dream to go to the Moon, which reflected a broader public sentiment about space travel at the time. Heinlein's insistence on the importance of space exploration for the future of humanity inspired many in the US space program. Several engineers working at NASA during the Apollo era have mentioned Heinlein's influence on their ambitions to send humans to the Moon and beyond. His work fed into the cultural momentum that saw space as the next frontier, making him a significant figure in the ideological and imaginative foundations of the space race. Sci-fi and real space achievements the 1960s and 1970s saw the height of the space race, culminating in the Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969. By this time, the relationship between sci-fi and real-world space exploration was well established. Sci-fi had moved from the realm of speculative fiction into a genre that not only anticipated technological developments but actively inspired them. One of the best examples of this influence is the relationship between the work of Wernher von Braun, a pioneering rocket scientist, and sci-fi writers. Von Braun, who played a crucial role in the development of the V-2 rocket and later NASA's Saturn V rocket that took humans to the Moon, was an avid reader of science fiction. He frequently cited H.G. Wells and Jules Verne as early influences. In fact, von Braun himself wrote speculative articles in the 1950s envisioning human missions to Mars, much like those imagined by the sci-fi authors he admired. Sci-fi authors also played a role in shaping the public's perception of space exploration. For example, the Star Trek television series, which premiered in 1966, had an enormous cultural impact, inspiring future astronauts and scientists to pursue careers in space-related fields. Mae Jemison, the first African-American woman in space, has said that Star Trek's depiction of a multicultural crew exploring the cosmos inspired her as a child to become an astronaut. The series creator, Gene Roddenberry, envisioned a future in which humanity had overcome many of its divisions and was united in its quest to explore the stars. This vision resonated deeply with a generation growing up in the shadow of the space race. Post-1970 sci-fi influence. While earlier sci-fi writers set the stage for space exploration, post-1970 writers like Isaac Asimov and Carl Sagan continued to shape scientific thinking about space. Sagan, a renowned astronomer and author, wrote both scientific and sci-fi works, including the novel Contact, 1985, which explored humanity's first interaction with extraterrestrial intelligence. Sagan's ability to bridge science fiction and science fact helped popularize complex ideas about the universe for a broad audience, influencing both the public and aspiring scientists. Asimov, another prolific author, is known for his Foundation and Robot series, which explored themes of space colonization, artificial intelligence, and the future of human civilization in space. Asimov's books were deeply influential among scientists and space enthusiasts, with many NASA engineers citing his work as inspiring their visions of the future. The relationship between classical sci-fi authors and space-related science, travel, and exploration is one of mutual influence and inspiration. Early sci-fi pioneers like Jules Verne and H.G. Wells ignited humanity's collective imagination, making space exploration not only conceivable but something to strive for. Mid-20th century authors like Arthur C. Clarke and Robert Heinlein further advanced the notion that space was humanity's next frontier, helping to shape both public enthusiasm and the practical ambitions of scientists and engineers working in the burgeoning space programs of the 1960s. As we look to the future of space exploration, whether it be Mars colonization, asteroid mining, or interstellar travel, it is clear that the pioneering authors of sci-fi have not only predicted many aspects of our journey into space, but have also been an integral part of making that journey possible. Sci-fi continues to inspire new generations of dreamers, thinkers, and innovators, ensuring that the genre will remain intertwined with humanity's quest to explore the stars.